This is a film about what managing agents do. Hello, my name is Robert, and I am a leasehold director. It is my pleasure to introduce Priya and Cedric, who will be talking about what managing agents do. I asked them to cover the following topics. 1. The management of money, budgets, charges, arrears. 2. Rules they must try to enforce, leases, compliance, approvals. 3. Safety, checks, records, certificates. 4. Short and long-term repair requirements. 5. How managing agents support residents, updates, help with selling their property, mediation between neighbors, for example. And 6. Memberships of managing agents, RICs and/or TPI. I too, as a leasehold director, am curious what they have to say about the management of money. I have found this to be a tricky subject.
Hey Priya, I'm thinking about buying a flat, and I keep hearing about managing agents. What exactly do they do day to day?
Oh, they do loads, Cedric. For starters, they handle all the financial stuff, opening client bank accounts, preparing annual budgets for service charges, collecting those charges, and sending out regular budget reports so everyone knows where the money's going. And in case you are wondering, a client in this context is in the first instant usually whoever owes the block of flats. That's often a landlord, the freeholder, but not always.
So, they're like accountants and property managers rolled into one.
Pretty much. They also manage arrears of leaseholders, pay contractors, sort out invoices, and reconcile bank accounts. But it's not just about money. They also deal directly with individual leaseholders, answering their questions, helping with licenses if a leaseholder is selling their property, and acting as the go-between for loads of things.
Well, that sounds simple enough. But what about the rules that leaseholders must follow? If you have seen our other film about a lease document, which is on our leaseholders community website, you might remember some of the rules mentioned there. Anyway, let's follow their conversation.
What about legal compliance? Like, if someone breaks the lease terms?
They're on top of that as well. They monitor lease compliance, get solicitors involved for breaches if needed, and can even represent the landlord or freeholder at court or tribunals. Plus, they handle approvals for things like subletting or alterations and make sure all the legal steps are followed.
So, one of the major reasons for having a managing agent is that they are on top of all the rules that concern fire and other regulations. This, the topic of their conversation now.
Do they keep up with health and safety stuff?
Yes. They organize regular checks, fire risk assessments, asbestos and Legionella tests, you name it. And they keep all the paperwork in order, like certificates of compliance and notices for lease assignments.
How do they keep leaseholders informed about service charges and repairs?
Cedric's question is a very pertinent one. As a leasehold director, I have many a time asked managing agents how they do this. Priya seems to have a good grasp on all these issues. What's her experience?
They're supposed to be really transparent. They should provide detailed info about service charges, send out documents when you move in or when charges are due, and provide regular updates like budget reports and annual accounts. For repairs, they might use newsletters, online portals, or meetings to keep everyone in the loop.
Even I did not know about all these possible ways of communication. Did you?
Are there any legal rules about this communication stuff?
Definitely. Every service charge demand must include the freeholder's address and a summary of your rights. You can also ask for a breakdown of how the money's spent, and they must give it to you within 21 days.
I just remembered the next topic of repairs and maintenance. Always a hot topic, and a sometimes hotly disputed one. For example, should the communal part of the property have a neutral color like white or beige? Or how about a strong, vibrant, welcoming green? Usually there are as many opinions as leaseholders in the estate. Interesting.
What about big repairs or major works?
For those, they must formally consult leaseholders, usually through something called a Section 20 consultation. You get to review the plans and costs, and you can challenge the managing agents about the proposals made if you want. An S20 consultation can be a pretty lengthy process.
How do they go about urgent repairs and deal with long-term maintenance planning?
They should have a system for that so that urgent repairs get sorted quickly. whereby long-term maintenance plans like regular inspections, cyclical works, and preventative maintenance should normally be dealt with in a CapEx, capital expenditure plan, which should be linked to a calendar, which covers a number of years. The frequency of external and internal decorations of blocks or flats, for example, are governed by the lease. Detailed records of such work should be kept by the managing agent, who should also communicate with residents about what's urgent and what's planned for later.
CapEx plans. Interesting. I am a strong believer in these. As a leaseholder, is able to plan the costs of what needs doing to the building over a usually 10-year period. CapEx plans normally cost money, as a surveyor needs to draw them up, and not every managing agent has such a surveyor on their team. So, they may need to be bought in from another company, and that can cause friction between leaseholders, as this means another expenditure.
Sounds like a lot to manage. Do they do all the work themselves?
Not always. They can bring in specialist contractors for big jobs and have maintenance contracts for regular stuff, like cleaning. It keeps everything running smoothly and up to standard.
I have just noticed that Priya has not mentioned reserve funds. As a director, I find them an incredibly important tool to manage costs long term, as they allow a leasehold estate to accumulate funds for major works, like internal and external decorations, in advance. And that eases the financial burden on leaseholders in the long run. So, when one of these decorations is due, each individual leaseholder is not faced with having to suddenly pay any more, as the amount of money in the reserve funds can cover this expenditure. If the reserve fund is insufficient, the further sums required have to be raised from the leaseholders. Under normal circumstances, these extra demands would be small compared to the cost of the work overall. Unfortunately, though not every lease provides this possibility, which in turn then requires each leaseholder to personally save money for these events, possibly over years in advance. And with so many financial pressures on everyone, this can prove to be difficult.
How important is it to choose a qualified managing agent?
Super important! Qualified agents know all the legal and safety rules, handle finances professionally, and have good networks for repairs. They're usually members of professional bodies like RICS, Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors, and/or the TPI. Both institutions hold their members to high standards. They are thus accountable to these institutions. Some managing agents are members of both institutions.
What Priya has just said explains why the membership of these managing agents is so important, as it means that you, as the leaseholder, can see their professional qualifications and hope that they act according to the professional guidelines outlined in those institutions, which holds everyone to high standards. Priya, what should I be looking for? What letters after their name?
Look for MRICS, member of RICS, or MTPI, member of the TPI.
And what happens if there's a dispute or a resident has a question?
Good managing agents act as neutral mediators. They listen to everyone, try to find fair solutions, and keep communication clear and honest. They provide access to documents, give practical advice, and keep records of all correspondence. If they can't resolve something, they'll point you to the right place for help.
Wow, I had no idea managing agents did so much behind the scenes.
They really do. When you have a good one, everything just runs smoothly without a hitch, and everyone's interests are protected.
Thank you so much for all your help, Priya, and I do hope that one day I can repay the favor, somehow. Take care and have a lovely day.
I do hope this has provided you with a bit more insight into what managing agents do. And good luck with the purchase of a leasehold. There is a lot of information worth knowing about before you purchase. Have a look on the website www.leaseholderscommunity.com and find the film about a leasehold document, which contains insights a leasehold document gives you and why you should take note of it. Just before you go, what do you think about your own managing agent? Do they deal with all the aspects mentioned here? Are they qualified? If not, let us know which aspects you believe are missing in the comments section below this video, or any other comments about your managing agent you wish to make. Don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter. The link to subscribe is also to be found underneath this video. Help create a national voice for leaseholders to which all can refer, especially government. Numbers count. It costs nothing to join. Sign up now and make your voice heard.